Hey Empoweristas, it's Alex Worley, and I am so excited for my guest today. We've got Chelsea Breach. She is the face behind the Millennial Mist. Thanks for chatting with me today.
I'm so happy to be here. This is so fun.
It's been a long time coming. I'm glad I finally got you in the studio. So first of all, tell me, what is the Millennial Mist?
So the Millennial Mist is a single source destination for inspirational yet relatable content. It's an all-encompassing lifestyle blog dedicated to the evolving woman. So I really cover topics from A to Z on how to fearlessly navigate through all of life's ups and downs.
I love it, because in your 20s, there are a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
And so, yeah, you need a site like the Millennial Mist. What was the inspiration behind it for you?
You know, to be honest, I think it's a little bit of a cliche answer, but for me, it was just everyday life and all the twists and turns that 20-something life does bring. A few years ago, I was going through a lot of changes, and I found myself in need of that online community that really just understood me, and I couldn't find it, so I just created it.
I love it. So a lot of Empoweristas have a dream, like creating a blog or maybe something else creative or a business, but the hardest part is making it a reality and executing it, which you have done. So give us some insight to the steps that it took to make this a reality.
Well, I think a little bit of the ironic part of that is, to be honest, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew to an extent that I wanted to be a voice for my generation. I just didn't really necessarily know how to execute. So the steps that I ended up taking, gosh, I mean, I asked a lot of questions to a lot of people. I reflected on life experiences, and then I just, took every single penny that I found and ended up investing in a graphic designer to, just to make sure that my site aesthetically was pleasing to whoever clicked on it, to grab them right away.
Because that's a big thing with blogging.
It's a big thing,
which is to have a really visually appealing site.
Absolutely. You got to think about when you're scrolling, if you see something that just looks better than something else, or the colors are more appealing, you're instantly going to gauge towards that. So, I invested a lot of time and money to making sure that that was up to what I thought was good standards.
Yeah. And what was your background work-wise? I know that you had a couple assistant jobs and other experiences that probably really helped you manage your own project.
For sure. So, gosh, I moved out to LA about 4 years ago, and throughout that time, I've gone through some different careers. I started at Advertising and People magazine, and then from there, I went into some Hollywood assistant roles. I majored in broadcast journalism, so I was always out here, taking hosting classes and really trying to connect with people on a different level.
That's awesome. Okay, so one of your big themes is it's okay not to have it all figured out. You're exactly where you need to be. Can you tell me a little bit more what you mean by this?
For sure. So I just think that, especially in today's society, it's almost like we've all lost the notion about how to unapologetically be ourselves. And, it's almost to a sense that we've been brainwashed to filter every single part of our life until it matches someone else's expectation. And when I would really sit with that idea, that doesn't sit well with me. And I think it's so beautiful to just be yourself and be vulnerable and know that at times it's truly okay to be a hot mess. A part of growing up is not knowing really what you want to do with your life, or how you're going to pay your next rent check, or if you're forever going to be that single friend in your group. Whatever it is, that's okay, and there's beauty in that.
So much beauty, and it's what makes life interesting.
Exactly. It's just, that's how life works.
Yeah, and obviously there are so many, companies or media or whatever that wants to make you feel that you're not enough because they can make money off of you if they're like, oh, buy this product, and then you'll feel enough. But the truth is, we're already enough. Anything else is just the icing on the cake.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. So on a related note, let's talk about social media and that theme of being relatable, and how actually there's a lot of power in that. Can you tell me a little bit about how you are relatable on social media?
Yeah, it's I guess it's interesting that you say that. I think if you break it down, you shouldn't have to overthink how to be relatable. This is my rule of thumb and how I view that category, that no matter what you're going through in life, your followers, whether you have 50 of them or 500,000 of them, they have either gone through that or they're going through that exact situation. So to me, it's just post about it. Someone is automatically going to latch onto it and be able to gosh, she's going through it too. I've been there, or whatever it may be, but instantly you become, a voice for them.
Yeah, and I think people are craving that. There was a time where advertising and marketing was simply about aspiration. You know, Victoria's Secret models, for so many years, it was about aspiring to be like them. So you wanted to buy their products. But now with social media, it's kind of removed that barrier and that filter where you can just be like direct to your audience and you don't have to be filtered. And I think because of that, it's creating this demand for more authenticity, for more transparency and vulnerability, like you said. And you get really good feedback on your vulnerable posts, don't you?
You know, it's funny, when I first started this whole blogging journey, I had invested so much time into photographers and making sure, you know, that we would get the right shot. And to be honest, once those finances kind of started to go, I would be like, all right, well, you know, I need to post about this blog post, and I would take a selfie, and instantly my engagement on that would be so much better. So that was an interesting trial and error for me, because I saw that my followers, you know, they're the ones going to the Victoria's Secret models for more of a Photoshop different vibe. You know, they know to come to me that, like, really it's a what you see is what you get sort of vibe. So, but again, it's all trial and error, and I think it's just depending on you and your brand and whatever is going to work best for you.
Yeah, just being true to yourself and your brand for sure. So what is your number one tip for maintaining your confidence?
Gosh, I would have to say that it was really powerful for me the day that I realized that no matter what I post, that not everyone is going to agree with me and or like me. And once I really let that set in, that was an empowering and, you know, big moment for me. So with that being said, I think my number one tip is just to stay on your track. You know, don't let anyone nudge your vision if they don't like what you're posting or what you're saying, because that's hands down, that's going to happen. So if you're true to yourself and to your brand or what you stand for, then confidence will inevitably grow from that.
And you really have to stand for something in order to attract the right people. And anytime you stand for anything, you're going to isolate some people and not make them happy.
Of course.
But if you try and play it in that safe zone, yeah, you might not make people mad, but you're also not going to win over people either, because you're just kind of playing it in the safe zone.
Right, and that goes back to, you know, just that's not being true to yourself. You know, everyone has their opinions. So whatever your opinion is, state it, because there's going to be people that feel the same way.
Yeah, and I love, we got coffee the other week, and you said something about just owning your value and the value you bring, and more so related to the business side of what you do.
Yeah.
And when you take meetings, when you take phone calls, send emails, just really, really owning what you have to offer. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like what we touched on, I think confidence is such a powerful thing. You know, if you send an email dripping in confidence, or if you walk into a room being like, you know, almost being your own hero or your own ego, you know, however you want to view it, if you own it, they're automatically going to see you in a different light.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself more than anybody else, and it'll just kind of trickle off. Everyone else is going to see it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're moving in a couple of weeks. By the time this airs, you probably will have already moved, but we don't know how that's going to go yet. Hopefully it'll be great. Tell me what you're moving for.
Okay, so gosh, let's see. Life is just going through a really fun, exciting time, but starting a lot of new chapters. My fiance and I just got engaged in February. So due to his profession, he's based in Boston for a little over half the year. So I'm going to head to Boston, go back to my East Coast roots, and, you know, make Boston a home.
And then go down to Florida after.
Yeah, so our life is pretty much basically split in between off season and during the season. So
because he's a baseball player.
He is a baseball player. Go Sox. So during the season, we'll be in Boston. And then for the off season, we're both from South Florida. So we're going to go back there.
That's so fun. But you're going to keep up with the Millennial Mist.
Oh, absolutely.
You can do that from wherever.
Yeah, we have so much to talk about. And I think I'm excited for this new chapter. And it's going to bring a lot of new content. And, you know, like I said, I was just inspired through daily events. And this is a huge daily,
you need new daily events to write about, so you're going to have no shortage of them.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about marriage and the move and everything over on the blog.
Lastly, what is your definition of empowerment?
So my definition of empowerment would be to truly owning wherever you are in life, because I think that that's exactly where you should be.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Fun chatting on camera. And let us know what your definition of empowerment is using hashtag Empowerista, and we'll show you some social media love.